With Precision National Trans Am hitting the circuit, so we'll sprinkle some updates as that unfolds before the final one of TCR for the weekend. These are the Gods of Thunder. Some really cool cars here, from Rotaries to V8s and a whole lot more. And a couple of commentators who love it immensely. Here is Richard Craill alongside Matt Nolte.
Rusty, I'm pretty sure you meant the Gods of Thunder with the cars and not the two up in the commentary box. Just wanted to clarify that one. Thank you. Yeah, it's the big story brewing down there in the paddock, and the guys and girls will keep you updated during the afternoon as we build up towards the final race of Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. AWC Race Tasmania. Richard Craill stays alongside me in the commentary box. A busy day for us. We're looking forward to this third and final race now, the Precision International National Sports Sedan Series.
Worst ways to spend a Sunday, Matt Nolte. There's no doubt about that. Calling these cool racing cars in a cool location, and it's been a great show so far this weekend. TCR stuff's going to burble away. It'll be motor racing handbooks at 10 paces, I think, in the paddock. People throwing regulations at each other until the green flag drops. Yeah, it's much safer. Peter Ingram goes from pole position, 2 wings so far in that Aussie Play Mazda RX-7. Kim Barwick out of second. Jeff Taunton and Mark Duggan out of third and fourth. Ryan Humphrey and Stephen Lacey out of 6. Ingram, Purtell, Cameron and Crossing 10. The big story will be Stephen Tomasi, though, going out of 13th position in the Calibra for Precision International, who are also the series sponsor. He has got a job to do from the very back of the field. There he is, right at the back. And he carved his way through the field in race 2 earlier today before mechanical issues slowed his charge, and he pulled off to the side of what was an abbreviated race at the end. So let's see what Tomasi can do this time by. Ingram, meanwhile, has been outstanding in that Mazda RX-7. It's his first time at Symmons Plains Raceway, the Sydney sider, but he has been outstandingly competitive. And that car, which was built by Pace Innovations, the well-known chassis construction company up in Queensland, Paul Sepranich has built that car, and it's very good. Stephen Lacey, former New South Wales champion, cold tyres, coming out of pit lane and loops the car to the inside. That's awkward.
And hoping no camera saw it.
The 7 Sport cameras are everywhere. They do not miss a thing like that.
So Steve Tomasi having to do it again from 13th. For this one, he stopped late in the race. There's electrical dramas in race 2 earlier today that was finished under safety car. And Peter Ingram, well, he's dominated this weekend in the box seat to pick up the first round, the first weekend of this National Sports Sedan Series. Back in Tasmania for the first time in 3 decades. That is cool as well. A lot of cool names have been successful in this over the last 40-odd years, maybe dating back to the early 80s, late 70s, when it was the Australian Sports Sedan Championship. And now they get into the rows of 2. The Hyundai safety car steeps away from the field, and we're ready for the final one. 20 laps around Symmons Plains Raceway. The final one for National Sports Sedans. Watch the front and watch that Holden Calibra from the back.
Keep an eye on both ends of this Precision Sports Sedan Series field. The opening round of the championship for 2024. It's been entertaining racing so far. Let's see what happens in race 3. For the first time since 1992, the Sports Sedan's back on the Apple Isle. And Ingram once again with the best jump in that rotary-powered RX-7. Duggan around the outside in the Aston Martin DBR9. Great start from Mark. So he's up to 3rd place, or is he? Taunton gets through. And the Falcon looking to try and do the same thing. That's Humphrey. That big XD classic sports sedan shape. That thing is Mazda behind, and then Purtell, who's another driver coming from the back of the field.
And Tomasi had a big lock-up across the crest of the hill there going towards turn number 1. He survived and pushes on. Back up in a 10th position, side by side, heading down the back straight. Here's Ingram and Purtell. The Nissan stretches away and gets the job done. He's up 2 positions already. Into the left-hander, fights Ryan Humphrey. Nice lap. This is turning out to be, and the Western Australian gives him racing room, and will have to drop back in, or he might lose another spot.
P5 already. Purtell, that was racy.
No.
It gets real close real quickly down there too. So Purtell up to 5th place, Tomasi to 8th. Cameron in the 111. Duggan Family Hotel supported Holden Commodore. And then we go back and look at this battle for 2nd and 3rd place. Jeff Taunton and Barwick. And there's almost contact, or was there? A little bit of contact front to rear. The Nissan GTR pretty rapid in a straight line, in a similar way that we've seen in the Tassie Tin Tops this weekend. They've got all the horsepower in the world, but the GT SS Mark car that's in behind is also pretty rapid, very good under brakes, very good through the high-speed aerodynamic corners. Mazda RX-8 looking for a move. He's got Tomasi behind, so Humphrey under a little bit of pressure in the Billet My PFC car. That's a former Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series car out in the United States, built by Speed Source Racing for the GT class in Grand Am racing before the IMSA merger quite a while ago now, and they came out to Australia with Bruce Henley, who ran that car in National Sports Sedan Racing.
Taunton around the outside, but he's dislodged. The front bonnet bumper assembly did that earlier today, but had to work hard to go around the outside and gets it done. I'm concerned it's not going to hold on, because that was a fairly sizable hit on the car ahead on the previous lap.
I'm concerned Jeff's about to be very disappointed, because that Barwick Nissan's very quick in a straight line. Having said that, no problems. Taunton holds on to the spot.
11 k's an hour difference.
Well, it was that lap, but the lap before, the GTR was substantially quicker in a straight line, so exit out of the hairpin perhaps not quite so good for Barwick last time by.
258 kilometres an hour for Peter Ingram, our race leader, at the speed shot on the way down to turn number 6. They don't hang around, these sports sedans. And Taunton, can he go after Ingram?
Tomasi Nolts with an aerodynamic assistance of a toe in front, 265 clicks last time by. So that shows you how fast these cars are. 52.0 already, the quickest lap of the race, set by Ingram, the race leader. There's Tomasi. Big flames out the back of the Calibra. It's been a hallmark of that car its entire existence in sports sedan racing. His father, Daniel, is a long-standing competitor in the category as well, and still looks after the race team day to day. Involved in some famous moments in this category, the Tomasi family. Big supporters of National Sports Sedan Racing. Say hello to Darren Hossack, who's got a new Ford Mustang under build for Michael Robinson that will be making its debut hopefully later this season.
We need a lobby to get Darren Hossack back behind the wheel as well on the greats of Aussie motorsport. That's the margin, first to second. It's out to nearly 7 seconds now. Ingram, Taunton, Barwick and Purtell, with Duggan, Humphrey and Tomasi from 13th on the grid. Has been the fastest car on the track, but can't seem to break past these two, headed by the Aston Martin of Mark Duggan ahead.
Yeah, he's just jammed up behind these two who are putting on a pretty good show. He's got a very good run this time, and we'll look to the inside up here in the braking zone at turn 6 on Humphrey. But again, not quite close enough. So the big XD Falcon certainly lacking nothing straight line department.
Behind him is Lacey. Back end of that battle pack in the 78 machine that had to lose on the outlap just here. So Tomasi, a weekend that's really got away for the Holden Calibra. It's had so much success over the years. Over 20 race wins. And now battling to get past the Falcon and the Aston Martin ahead. Ingram continues to lead this one, looking to get the broom out for a clean sweep. The margin 7 seconds to Taunton and Barwick here in the National Sports Sedan Series.
I don't think all is well aboard that Calibra. It's not carving its way through the field as quickly as we thought it might, given the raw speed it's got. Finally, he gets down the inside of Humphrey and gets himself to 6th position. Duggan next in the Aston Martin. Now he's got it right. So a couple of strange laps there where he was just sitting in behind this group. Now he's carved them up. 2 cars in as many corners. Duggan gets a good run out of 2, but Tomasi now clear, and that releases him into clean air as well. So Purtell will be his next target up in 4th place. And then it's a fairly big gap to Barwick and Taunton, who's still running 2nd. Oh, Duggan. Looked like he locked the rears under brakes there into the hairpin, and just manages to get that car straight before it spun. And nice work from Humphrey to take evasive action, no damage.
And not finish him off, like he could have literally turned him right around on his own axis at turn 4.
What about Ingram? This is a good performance as well from the RX-8 to get right in this mix too. Just to tack onto the back of this battle pack. that car's got better as the weekend's got on, and he's got more of an understanding of Symmons Plains. And to look down the inside here at 1, but that Falcon takes up quite a lot of racetrack as it turns out.
Humphrey, this XD Falcon, has been in the series for a few years now. Massive high wing on it. Still topping speeds over 250 kilometres an hour for the Western Australian. As he makes it out of turn 4 with Duggan ahead. Tomasi has pulled away from this group and set his fastest lap of the race on the previous lap with now some fresh air. Humphrey's about to lose this position. Ingram to the inside, but Humphrey has the better line. Dramas down here for Cameron in the Holden Commodore. Doesn't want to get hooked up on the curb. Lets it inch around and trying to refire it in the second DFH car. Trying to bump start it. See flame punching out the side, the unburned fuel that sits in the exhaust system. Oh, he came in hot. And how is there not more contact with that? We've had so many near misses down there this weekend.
In all of the categories too. And he's got that car fired up, which is great. And the unique livery rolling in the pink and the orange with the black. So, big moment. This is now the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. And it's all starting to condense. Full credit to Ingram out in front, 51.7. Quickest lap of the race. It's 1.1 off the outright lap record here, or the sports sedan lap record, which is a 50.6. So Purtell under pressure from Tomasi.
Back-to-back flying laps now, and he's going after the Nissan, who can see him in the mirror. The Calibra pulls out for a phantom look here at 1, but you watch him line him up on the way down to turn 4.
And the Nissan struggled through turn 2 there. It was wide, and it cost him his exit out of 3, and it will open the door.
He did it with ease, Krause.
Yeah. I'm surprised it's taken as long as it has, to be frank, for Tomasi to get this far up the order, but he had to work so hard to get past Ingram and Duggan, Humphrey and Duggan, I should say, but now he's got this car in clean air. And this was a bit of a trend as well. Remember yesterday, it was better on the longer run, that Calibra. As the race went on, it got quicker and quicker. So Tomasi up to 4th. Ingram continues to lead the way. Jeff Taunton's doing an outstanding job in 2nd position.
10 seconds away from our race leader Ingram. Barwick still runs in 3rd. Tomasi going after him.
Symmons Plains Raceway looking a treat on a Sunday afternoon for the Shannon's Speed Series round 2 of a massive year of motorsport coming your way on the screens of 7. It's AWC Race Tasmania in the Precision National Sports Sedan Series, where just beyond the halfway point of their final race of the weekend. And some of the wildest tin tops in the sport are going at it, and just making contact at turn 4. Mark Duggan has locked the rear brakes of the big Aston Martin, has spun the car, and there was just contact.
Oh no.
And now he's driven it off into the gravel trap. It's not coming out of there. That gravel trap is as deep as any in the nation for a reason. It's a high-speed approach, and Mark Duggan is beached as.
Just a second lock-up in 3 laps for the Aston Martin. There'll be some damage on the front and the right rear of the car that clipped him. And you might say, well, how come he can't turn this car around? The steering lock on these cars is minimal. He was trying to do a flick spin, but it's ended up in the gravel.
It's got the turning circle of the USS Enterprise, so it's well and truly stuck there. It's still running, so it should just be a flat toe out. 9 laps to go in the race. There will be a time cut-off point for this one that we'll need to look at, but let's see. The best part about this is it brings Stephen Tomasi within 1 car of that man, the number 32 Mazda RX-7 with Pete Ingram, who's leading the race. So Tomasi has worked his way through to 3rd position. He's up 10 spots from where he started. And he's only going to have Jeff Taunton between himself and the race leader for a potential shot at this one. Oh, that is well stuck. We've seen a couple of moments, Nolts, in this race where people are locking the rear brakes, getting to the end of the weekend, brakes are getting tired, tyres are getting tired, drivers might be getting tired, and they're struggling to get them stopped down there. It's an enormous high-speed approach in these cars, 240 kilometres an hour before they get on the brake pedal at about the 150 metre mark, if not a little bit later. So it's a lot of brake pressure. It's a lot of braking to be done in a short space of time. And they're locking the rear brakes, which means you basically lose all control and have moments like that.
So the gap that was out to 11 seconds is back to 0 and brings in some players like Taunton, Tomasi and Barwick. Will they go to retrieve the Aston Martin stuck down there in the gravel trap?
The problem for Tomasi, Matt, is that there's some lapped cars in the way too, and he can't get past them until they get to the control line. They get beyond the control line, which is the start-finish line here at Symmons Plains. So it might not be before that run down to the hairpin at turn 4 that Tomasi gets within sight of Jeff Taunton in that green and white Mark Cars Australia GT SS. So he needs to get past Scotty Cameron in the 111 Commodore. And I think Michael Robinson's in that mix as well in the Holden Monaro. The Ford Ranger Wildtrak V6 recovery ute. It's got all the torque you need to drag a Aston Martin DBR9 sports sedan out of the gravel trap. Locating the tow hook might be a challenge though. All these cars completely bespoke. So everything in different positions, and I think I'm just trying to have a conversation about where it is. There it is. Turns out it's located on the roof above the driver's door.
He was pointing to it.
Yeah, who knew?
The problem is dragging it back this way. It might rip that front splitter the way it's parked in there.
About Mazda RX-7s with a fellow enthusiast. So the checkered flag is out for the Precision National Sports Sedan Series. And unfortunately that recovery just taking too much time down there, which is understandable. The car was pretty buried at the sand trap. So that race has been flagged. We reached the critical cut-off point, and the result is a clean sweep of the weekend for Peter Ingram. Congratulations, a brand new car doing the job. First time at Symmons Plains. He gets the big weekend win here in Tassie. Jeff Taunton, that's a huge drive to second. Stephen Tomasi fought his way back to third. Kim Barwick and Ben Purtell rounding out the top 5 at the end of that one, with Matt Ingram, Ryan Humphrey, Stephen Lacey recovered to 8th from the back, John Crossing and Michael Robinson in the Monaro. For Bell Real Estate in 10th, Scotty Cameron and Graham Gilliland, 70 plus years of age, still going strong in 12th. And then we saw a couple of DNFs at the bottom. So a frustrating end, let's be honest, to the Precision Sports Sedan Series, but that's the roll of the dice sometimes. In top-level motorsport like this, it was still competitive racing all the way through. And great racing. Jeff Taunton was racing this weekend in the 95 Mark GT SS. Second place, that's a PB result for him in National Sports Sedan Racing. Tomasi, meanwhile, had to work hard for it, but he carved his way through the field ultimately to P3.
Took him several laps, avoided this incident. The first half lose down there for Doug, and this was Scotty Cameron in the Commodore unloading himself, and then the second time, the Aston Martin finally went around, but as he tried to rejoin, it fired off into the gravel trap. Try as he might, those rear tyres would just spin their way. Safety car was called out, and it was going to take a little bit longer. We're past the time certain point, and it would finish for the second time as many races under the Hyundai safety car here today. Ingram taking the win and puts himself at the top of the series after round number 1 of the 2024 Precision National Sports Sedan Series.